Good morning, everybody. It's Kate, the West Coast Paper Crafter. It is Sunday, May 26th, and today I am going to post videos for a free online card class using the Country Flowers bundle from Stampin' Up. So there are 3 projects. Let me just get them. Oops. 3 projects that I will be posting videos for. The videos will be on Facebook shortly after this live is finished, and I'll also add them to YouTube. So just a couple things to tell you about. I almost forgot, but before I post those videos, I've got a bonus 3D project that I'm going to show you how to make now. But a full disclaimer, my son has a sleepover, so you may hear some noise in the background. He knows I'm doing a live, but he might forget. So if you hear, sorry, I just got really close to the camera. I was checking my laptop. But if you hear some noise in the background, that's what's going on. So let's flip the camera around. I'll give you a better look at the 3 projects that I will be posting in videos as soon as this live is over, both to Facebook and YouTube. And then a couple things to share with you before we get started. All right, I'm just adjusting. You can see I've got my scoreboard out, so there is going to be some scoring with this bonus project. So here is the first card project that I'll post after this live. Our second one. Oh, I'm not holding that very well. There we go. And the last one is a super easy fun fold. I think I need to raise my camera up. Let's see if that's better. Hang on, I'm just doing a little bit of adjusting because I'm definitely not in the right space. That's a bit better. I've got some shadows, but I think we can work with that. So, and this is the third project, a fun fold. So I'll put those aside. And before we get going with the 3D project, I just want to remind anybody that there is a really good special going on for the month of May. So if you're not a demonstrator and you love a good deal, this is pretty sweet. So with your regular starter kit, you get $165 in anything you want from Stampin' Up for $135 plus tax. But you also get, in May only, 5 ink pads with the new ink colors, a pack of assorted cardstock, the designer series paper, and the Stampin' Right markers, plus free shipping. So it's a pretty sweet deal. Message me if you have any questions about that. Next, my next class is going to be a card class at home, and I'll be using the Seaside Wishes bundle. So this class is $45. You get $25 in product, which could be ribbon, paper embellishments. I haven't decided yet. 4 card kits, video tutorials, and a printable PDF. So I said my registration deadline was June 1st, but I might push that back a bit because I haven't even designed the project yet. So stay tuned for that. If you're interested, shoot me a message. Hey Tanya, thanks for tuning in. And in July, I'll be doing a same class, a card class at home, and this one will be with the sketched butterfly bundle. All right, so let's get started. So for our 3D project, I've got a piece of Pool Party. This is 3 by 8 3/4. Now this project I am casing from the Paper Pixie. She posted this project 6 years ago. It is super cute. She had the cutest designer series paper, which I'm envious of and I don't have, but we're gonna recreate it with the Country Flowers bundle. So I've got the scoreboard out. We're going to make a whole bunch of score lines, so follow along. We're starting with, on the long side of our 3 by 8 3/4 piece of Pool Party, we're gonna score it at 3 1/8. And then we're scoring at 3 3/4. 6 7/8. And then our last score line is 7 1/2. Okay, we'll put that piece aside. And I've got 2 pieces of Pretty Peacock. Hey Nikki, good morning. How was your birthday yesterday? These pieces are 3 1/16 by 3. So on the 3-inch side, we have a whole bunch of scores. So we're going to start with 3/8. So I got to count them. 1, 2, 3. 1 1/8. 1 7/8. And 2 5/8. Gotta count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. Now flip this over and score again at 3/4, 1 1/2, and 2 1/4. Now don't worry, I will post all these score lines at some point today. It'll take me a while. And we're gonna do the same thing with this second piece of Pretty Peacock. Oh, good. I'm glad your birthday was good, Nikki, and I'm glad you got your gift and that you like it. So again, on the 3-inch side, we're going to score at 3/8. I gotta count. There we go. 1 1/8. 1 7/8. And 2 5/8. Flip it over. Score at 3 1/4, 1 1/2, and 2 1/4. And now that's it for the scoreboard. Oh, good. I'm glad the dance was good. Okay. So what we're going to do with these 2 pieces is we're going to fold them like an accordion. So I'm just going to start by going back and forth on the score lines, like so, until all those score lines are folded in, and it's going to look like this when you're done. And if you have a bone folder, you can certainly burnish all your folds, but I think using your fingers works just as well, but it's up to you. So same thing with the second piece. We're going to fold just like an accordion, so back and forth on those score lines. All right, so now we have 2 pieces that look like this. Okay. So I'm going to grab some tear and tape, and what we're going to do next is we're going to add tear and tape starting on this, if you have your little accordion up like a W. So the edges of the paper are pointing up, it's not down, right? So like a W, we're going to start by putting a strip of tear and tape on this first edge, and then move over to the next, I don't know, I want to call it a mountain. And then bump over to the next one and the next one, and then we'll put an extra piece on that very last bit of paper. So it's hard for me to describe, I just have to show you. So grab your tear and tape, you're going to put a piece on that, it's a little bit awkward, but put a piece on that very first edge of that cardstock just before the score line. So about just a smidge, like not even a 1/16 of an inch in front of that score line. Move over to the next fold and add a strip. This is probably the most time consuming part of this project, is adding all the tear and tape. Plus it's awkward. Good morning, Jan, thanks for tuning in. All right, so now I'm adding it to the next fold. All right, so we've got paper, or tape so far on 3 of the folds. We'll do it on this piece now. and then one more piece at the very edge of this paper. All right, so now your folded little accordion looks like this. We're going to do the same thing with our other piece of paper. And again, on the next fold, I find it a little bit easier to flatten out my folds while I'm adding my tear and tape, just so I can get my chunky fingers in there. All right, so when you're finished, you're going to have 5 strips of tear and tape in the folds of your accordion. All right. Okay, I'm just going to fold this back up so it looks like it should, and make sure my tear and tape is stuck down properly. Okay, moving on. I have cut out 4 pieces of cardstock. I've got Pool Party and Pretty Peacock, and these are, excuse me, 2 7/8 by 3 1/16. So we'll start with the Pool Party. On one of our pieces, on the first strip of tear and tape, not where we have the 2 side by side, but on the first strip of tear and tape, we're going to start by pulling off the backing, and then you're going to take your cardstock and you're going to stick that down on your tear and tape. And there's 2 things you need to remember. You just want to be slightly before the score line, and you want to make sure that the piece of paper is the same size as your accordion fold, because it's just slightly bigger. So here I'm on my 2 7/8 side, and I know that's too short, so just make sure you're on the 3 1/16 edge of that piece of paper, and you're just going to put that down just before the score line. Excuse me, I've got something stuck in my throat. All right, so we're going to do that for these next 3 strips of tear and tape. And I'm just going to alternate colors. You can use the same color, it doesn't really matter. And I'm just sticking that down just in front of the score line. I'm just going to step away from the camera for 1 second. Sorry, I didn't want to cough right in the microphone. That would be rude. All right. I'm just making sure that I've got my 3 1/16 edge. And I'm sticking that on the tape right in front of that score line. It is a little bit tricky. It's awkward to work with the accordion fold. So just take your time. Okay, one more for this piece. And then that last little piece of tear and tape, you're just going to pull the backing off and you're folding it over. All right, so I don't know if you can see that, but I've just folded that over. So now we're going to take our second accordion fold, and this time the pieces of tear and tape that are side by side, we want that to the right. All right, so keep that to the right. Find the first piece of cardstock that you stuck down on the first accordion fold, and we're going to stick it to this first piece of tear and tape. Oops, I almost lost that. All right, so now we don't have to worry about our sizing because we've already got that sorted out. So again, just in front of that score line and keep it flush with the top and bottom edges of your accordion fold. Take your pick is just super handy when you have short nails. All right, just to make this a bit easier, I'm going to fold the accordion in while I attach this second piece of Pool Party. And I'm just going to keep sticking these dividers onto my second accordion fold. And it is a little bit awkward, but totally doable. Just take your time. All right, one more. All right, now again, I'm adding that just in front of that score line. And if you don't press down when you're sticking it on and you don't have it quite right, it's pretty easy to just lift it back up. Okay, all of it is put together, and now the last step is taking off your last piece of tear and tape, folding the edge over, and you have a little divider that looks like this, right? So I'm just gonna reinforce my folds. You can use your fingers. If you have a bone folder, go ahead and do that. Whatever works best for you. Now, this little accordion divider pocket, I don't know what the right term is going to be the inside of our 3D pocket. So before I stick that in there, I'm just going to fold in my score lines. Oops, I did that the wrong way. I like to fold in on the mountain, which is that little raised indent of the score line. Fold in on that raised indent. It would seem like you should fold in where it's indented the opposite way, but you don't. Your cardstock is stronger if you fold in, dent in, I guess. I don't know if that's making any sense. Okay, so when you fold everything in, your piece of cardstock is going to look like this, like a little file folder almost. Now I've got some designer series paper we're going to glue on. So our first piece, and this is the country lace from the Country Flowers set, where there's a really big suite, and I can't remember the name of it, but it includes the Country Flowers stamp set and another stamp set, but it's a birdhouse. I just can't remember the name of it. It's probably Country Birdhouse, probably something so simple. Anyway, I digress. So this piece of DSP is 2 7/8 by 1 1/8, and that's going to go on the very top flap. So I'll go ahead and I'll glue that down. And then I've got a second piece of the designer series paper. This is 2 7/8 by 3. And I'm going to glue that down in between the second and third score line. And I'm going to match it up to that first piece of designer series paper so it all looks the same. So I've got this blue strip is on my left, and then that, the white piece, I don't know what that is. I don't know what to call that. It's like reclaimed wood. It looks rough. It looks like it's really old. But anyway, you know what I mean. I am following this. I'm just making sure I'm putting the paper down so everything looks the same. And then our last piece, same size, 2 7/8 by 3. I'm going to glue that on the last section of this cardstock. All right, just like so. Now, the accordion divider we just made, we are going to adhere that in between the second and third score line, right? So we're going to stick that in there, and then it's all going to basically fold up and become this super cute little box. So to start with that, I'm going to take tear and tape, and I'm going to put it on the edges. Like so. And I'm going to flip it around, and I'm going to add some tear and tape to the opposite side as well, because I'm going to need that anyway, so I might as well do it now and get the tear and tape out of the way. Alright, so I've got my tear and tape down. I'm going to add some glue in a zigzag pattern. And pull off the back of the tear and tape. So if you guys are throwing comments in, I'm not seeing them. This happened on Monday when I did my live as well, but I saw the first few comments, but I didn't see any more. So if I'm missing comments, I'm sorry. There's a little bit of a glitch. I have no explanation why, but I will go through all the comments after the live, give them a read, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so now we're just going to carefully stick this down in between the second and third score lines. Okay, so just do it lightly at first in case you need to adjust. But I can see I've got it good. Now I'm going to take my bone folder, and I'm just going to put some pressure on that first fold to make sure that tear and tape sticks down. And then I'm going to stick my bone folder right inside, and I'm going to do the same thing so the tombow sticks down. Oh good, Tanya, it's working. Oh, I'm so glad you're concentrating on what I'm doing. I feel fancy. This is one of the projects ages ago we did at one of my in-person classes. It was a long time ago though, and it really is one of my favorites. Okay, so now we're going to close this little box in on itself. So go ahead and add your glue in a zigzag pattern. Pull off the back of your tear and tape. And then we're going to fold the box in on itself. So don't fold the flap in, excuse me, because we need that to not be stuck. But you're going to fold the bottom, and these two score lines, so the third and fourth score line, are going to be the bottom of the box. So you don't want to squish in your accordion fold. You just want to leave it and bring the bottom up. If you have to push in your little divider accordion, just do it slightly. You don't want to squish it down. So I'm going to just push my box down so it's just below that last score line, and I'm folding over. I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to grab my bone folder, and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to push down on that first little accordion fold on either side so the tear and tape sticks, and then I'm going to stick my bone folder on the inside and do some more pressure so the glue sticks to itself. All right, now if you have Velcro dots, I like to make a little sticky enclosure, so you can use Velcro dots. I also have magnets that I got off Amazon, but unfortunately they are so tiny that they're too small for a glue dot. So I did a sample one with the magnets last night, and they work, right? Like they'll close the box, but I find them really finicky because they're so tiny, and the glue dots are too big. So you have to basically tear a glue dot in half, and then you roll it up stick it under that tiny magnet, but because the magnet is so small, even half a glue dot is almost too much. So I'm not too sure. I might try Tombow for the magnets, but that will just need some time to test. So I've got 1/2 of my sticky Velcro dot. I'm going to put it in the, hang on a minute. Yeah, I'm going to put it in the middle on the top part of the flap. And the reason I'm going to do it on the top part is because I still want to decorate my box and I don't want to stick Velcro on my decoration. So I probably should have decorated it first, but moving on, I'll be fine. So now I'm taking the opposite side of my sticky Velcro dot and I'm going to stick it onto that first piece. And then I'm going to fold it over. I'm going to apply a little bit of pressure, and that Velcro dot should, hang on, it should, if I press it hard enough, it should stick to the opposite side of the box. There we go. So now I've got a little Velcro enclosure, and I've gone ahead and, I did put that a little bit too low. I'm gonna have to put my teapot at an angle. That's okay. So I colored in a little teapot and I added some flowers, and I'm just going to throw that on an angle at the front of my box, only because I should have put this on before the Velcro dot. We are almost done. All right, that's an angle. I'm going to take my bone folder and apply a bit of pressure so I can press down on that teapot and make sure it sticks. All right, like so. Now, this is a little gift box for tea. So you can stick 3 tea bags in this 3D project. Why isn't that sticking? My tea bags, there we go. So I've got 3 tea bags in there. I'm gonna fold that up. And now I've got a super cute little gift for the tea lovers in my life. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the bonus 3D tutorial. I'm going to flip my camera around. Where am I? There we go. It took me a while to figure that out. I need a second coffee. All right, thanks for tuning in for the bonus project. As soon as I sign off this live, I am going to post the 3 videos for card 1, 2, and 3 for today's class. You'll find it on Facebook and you'll also find it on YouTube. And yes, I'll do the measurements and all the scores for this 3D project in the comments later on today. So stay tuned for those. Thanks for tuning in live. I hope you enjoy my free class, and I'm going to let you go so I can get everything posted to Facebook. Have a good day.